Hello students, welcome you all in a new class of environmental science. We are going to start with the new topic on new unit, that is environmental pollution. Which points we have to study for this unit 5? The first point is environmental pollution. What are different types, causes, effects and control? Okay? And what are the types of environmental pollutions we are going to study? Those are air, water, soil and noise pollution. Although there are different types of pollution, but these four are included in your university syllabus, and we are going to emphasize or more focus on this four types of pollution. The next point is nuclear hazards and human health risk. The next topic is solid waste management, in which we have to study how to control the uh, solid waste, and how we can manage in urban and industrial area. Okay? So it can cause or it may be become less hazardous. And the last one is pollution case studies. Okay, so whatever the incidents were happened till now, we are going to see what are different cases and how those were impacted, and still now we are suffering, some of the people are suffering from the those cases, okay, or the incidences. Now, the first point will start with the environmental pollution. So, what is the environmental pollution? The word pollution derived from Latin word that is pollutionem, means defile. That means to change the pure state, okay, or which is the substance which was in a proper state, okay, or make dirty. That means to make impure. So, pollution may be defined as undesirable change in the physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of any component of the environment. So, those may be components are maybe biotic or abiotic. Okay, but the most of the damage which is caused by these substances is mainly on abiotic substances or the factors of the environment. Okay, so as we are studying the environmental pollution with the four types, so we are going to more emphasize on those types of pollution or those factors, okay, which are air, water and soil, which can cause harmful effects on various forms of life or property. Because as we know, if we alter or try to manipulate a biotic factor, ultimately we are going to see the impact on the biotic factors. That means vegetation and human health or the animal health. Okay, so in short, we can say the undesirable change in any physical, chemical, or biological characteristic of the any component of the environment. Okay, and as a result, we are going to see harmful effects on different forms of life. Okay? Now, by another way, how can we define environmental pollution? So, contamination of Earth's environment with materials that interfere with human health, that quality of the quality of life or the natural functioning of the ecosystem. That means living organism and their physical surrounding. Okay? So, by another way, you can define the environmental pollution by this way. Okay? Now, the next important term you should study, it is pollutants. So, what are pollutants? That pollutants include solid, liquid, and gaseous substances present in greater than the natural abundance produced by human activity, which have detrimental effects on the environment. Okay? So, in short, we can say it is any kind of or the substance which may be present in the any state of matter, maybe solid, liquid, or gas. Okay? And this substance which is causing pollution, okay, or some sort of agent which is responsible for the pollution, we can call that as a pollutant. Okay. So in the normal environment, it is not the only single pollutant is present. Okay. At the same time, the different pollutants may be responsible for the pollution, or they are showing the detrimental effects on the environment. So the nature and the concentration of pollutant determines the severity of its detrimental effect on human health. Okay. As we know, the nature and the concentration. Okay. That means if it is in the air, then it is easily breathable and can get entry into the respiratory system or the human body. Okay. Or even in the any living body. So it the activity, okay, or the action of that pollutant we can see with a very short period of time. Okay. But if it is percolated into the soil, okay, then there is a time required for the biomagnification. That means the toxic material or the pollutant may get absorbed by the plant, then the ecosystem, that is by the different factors of the ecosystem, that is the small carnivorous, herbivorous, okay, and then come as a comes as a top consumer. Okay. So that may require a time. Okay. And because of the accumulation, the concentration may change. Okay. So depending upon the which factor of the environment is getting polluted, okay, and the concentration of the pollutant, that is determining the severity of the effect of that pollutant on the human health. Okay. An average human health requires about 12 kg of air each day, which is nearly 12 to 15 times greater than the amount of food we eat. Okay. So, even a small concentration of pollutants in the air becomes more significant in comparison to similar levels present in food. Okay. So, that is justifying the sentence, that is nature and concentration are playing important role, or these are the parameters by which the severity can be measured. Okay. So pollutants that enter the water have ability to spread to distant places, especially in the marine ecosystem. Okay. And then the bioaccumulation can happen, or the phenomena we can see, that is indirectly or directly going to hamper the ecosystem and the topmost consumer, that is the human health, sorry, human or the large fishes. Okay. So what are the types of pollutants? So from an ecological perspective, pollutants can be classified as follows. Okay. So there are three different forms or the types of pollutants. The first one is degradable or non-persistent pollutant. So this can be rapidly broken down by natural processes. For example, domestic sewage and discardable vegetables. That means we can say the waste organic matter is classified into degradable pollutants. Okay. But it is not only the sewage present in a particular area. Okay. But pollutants, that means we are measuring concentration of pollutant, in which amount the pollutant is present, even if it is a part of the normal ecosystem, and that component which we are considering a pollutant, okay, if it is in excess amount, then we are considered as a pollutant. For example, in the environment, or sorry, in the composition of air, what you can observe, the higher level is nitrogen or maybe oxygen. If the nitrogen reacts with any another substance, for example, oxygen, that may form nitrogen oxide or the nitrous oxide. Okay. But this nitrous oxide is harmful for the living things. Nitrogen is not harmful as much as nitrous oxide. Okay. So the higher level of any or the excessive level of any component in the environment which is harmful to human health or any living form, that also we can consider as a pollutant, because ultimately it is changing the any kind of characteristic, that is physical, chemical or biological characteristic of the environment or the particular ecosystem. Okay, so the first one is degradable or non-persistent. So all the organic material which is maybe in the excessive and may show ill effects on human health are considered or classified as a degradable pollutants. The next one is slowly degradable or persistent pollutants. So as the name is saying, slowly degradable. So these are pollutants that remain in the environment for many years in an unchanged condition and take decades or longer to degrade. For example, DDT, that is pesticide, and most plastics. Okay, so most of the chemicals, okay, and plastics which are getting time to degrade. That means shelf life is higher as compared to the organic components. The next one is non-degradable pollutant. These cannot be degraded by natural processes. Once they are released into the environment, they are difficult to eradicate and continue to accumulate. For example, toxic elements like lead or mercury and nuclear waste. Okay, so the shelf life, okay, is very high. They require a l- that is a longer period of time to degrade, but the degradation is not possible by natural processes. Okay, so you have to do any chemical reaction, okay, or any physical reaction by increasing pressure, by applying some chemicals. These components or this kind of pollutants can be degraded, okay, or the degradation is possible, but it is not easy. Okay, so here are the some examples of major pollutants. So solid waste is garbage, rubbish, ashes, dead animals, that is demolition wastes, mining waste, and crop residue. Okay, so in short we can say it is a organic material. So this may be present in the liquid waste, that is a sewage, kitchen waste, soil and soil washing. Okay, now what are the pollutants which are present in the gaseous state? Okay, that is smoke gases, that is carbon monoxide, SO2 and NO2. So smog is the mixture of the smoke and fog. That's why it is called as the smog gases. So near the north side, okay, where the winter is harsh, so fog is coming, and along with that, the smoke, okay, is getting mixed, and that is forming a cloud, like the cloudy appearance, and that is called as a smog. Okay, in that particular environment, the breathing conditions are not able to maintain by human beings. Okay, or the breathing becomes more difficult. The next one is ozone, hydrogen sulfide, then deposited matter, that is soot, smoke, tar, grit, dust. Okay, the radioactive waste, that is argon, cobalt, krypton, strontium, plutonium. Okay, the which are present in the gaseous form, that is commonly found in the air. Oxides of nitrogen, sulfur, halogens, carbon monoxide, ozone, ammonia. Okay, so the next one is acids, that is nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and other acid, which is responsible for acid rain. Okay, we are going to see what is the acid rain and how it is acting as a pollutant for the air, okay, or the ecosystem. In metal mercury, that is cadmium, chromium, iron, zinc, lead, tin, nickel. Okay, agrochemicals, that the pesticides or the chemicals which is used for the agricultural purpose. that is insecticide, pesticide, herbicide, rodenticide, fungicide, weedicide, and fertilizers, that is DDT and BHC. So the DDT and BHC are or were more commonly used for the agricultural purpose, but now these are banned and the concentration uh, of use, okay, they have reduced, the government has reduced. Then next one is organic substances, that is benzene, aldehyde, detergents, ether, phosphogen, acetic acid. So these are the common or the major pollutants which can be observed, or these are present in a different states of matter and polluting different factors of the ecosystem like air, soil, water. So the next topic is types of pollution. So in your syllabus, there are four types of pollution are included. That is air, soil, water, noise. So air is the how different chemicals are affecting the or altering the composition of air, and what are the ill effects and how can we control these factors we are going to see in today's lecture. Then in the next lecture we are going to see the same topics or the by studying the same points the for the soil, water, and noise. Okay, so we'll start with the first type of pollution, that is air pollution. Air pollution is a broad term applied to any chemical, physical, for example, particulate matter or biological agent that modifies the natural characteristic of atmosphere. Okay, in the first sem I hope you must have studied the layers of atmosphere, or by the different spheres the atmosphere is formed. Okay, in which layer the ozone is present, the stratosphere, troposphere, all these things. Air pollution, or another way we can define as air pollution is, air pollution is an atmospheric condition in which certain substance including normal co- constituents in excess, okay, are present in concentration which can cause undesirable effects on man and his environment. Okay, like as we have discussed that even the normal constituent is in excess, that may be act as a pollutant, okay, and can show undesirable effects on man and the his environment or the ecosystem. Okay, so since we are considering air, okay, the ecosystem or the environment which is getting affected is atmosphere. Okay, so classification of air pollutants. So there are different classes of air pollutants. Okay, so air pollutants may occur in a gaseous or particulate form and may be organic or inorganic in nature. On the basis of origin of pollutants, they can be classified as primary or secondary pollutants. So what are the primary pollutants? These are emitted directly from the point of source, okay, or identifiable source. That means suppose there is a thermal plant, and if certain oxides or the hydrocarbons are coming out or the radioactive substances are emitting out, then we can say these are the primary pollutants. Okay, because we can identify the source and these are directly coming out from the, or they emitted out from the known source. Okay, there is not any kind of alteration in the pollutant. So what are the examples of this pollutant or the primary pollutants? Carbon monoxide, oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur, hydrocarbons, radioactive substances, etc. Okay. Now, what are the different or the secondary pollutants? These are formed by interaction of primary pollutants with pollutant with other primary pollutant or pollutants, or with some natural constituent, natural constituents of atmosphere. Okay, that means the secondary pollutant is formed by the interaction of the substance with any primary pollutant or pollutant, that is maybe single pollutant or a single agent or multiple agents. Okay, that is the primary pollutant or pollutants, or with some natural constituent of atmosphere, that means can be react with any other agent or the factor of the natural system, okay, or the ecosystem. So what are the examples of secondary pollutants? That is ozone, then peroxyacetyl nitrate, this is also called as a PAN, and photochemical smog. Okay, so this is a classification of air pollutant. Now, what are the causes or sources of air pollution? So the first one is anthropogenic causes. That means man-made, or because of the human activity, the air pollution uh, that is happened or causes. Okay. So what are the source? Okay, the burning of different kinds of fuel, that is combustion, fire powder, plants. Okay, as we know, the large amount of ash or the ash which comes out, heat, okay, and some toxic materials which is coming out by the combustion or the burning of different kinds of fuel. Controlled burn plastic use in agriculture and forestry management. Sorry, controlled burn practices used in agriculture and forestry management, that we can observe in the north side, that after the one crop cycle they burn the leftover residue. Okay, so that practice is responsible for air pollution. Okay, and when the fog get mixed with that smoke, okay, that is causing smog. Okay, the next one is motor vehicle generating air pollution emission. Okay, as we know that if we take an example of Pune city, okay, the number of vehicle is more than the number of people who are living in the city. Okay, so of course there is a higher emission of motor vehicles or the gases which is generating air pollution. Then marine vessels such as container ship, cruise ship, and related port air emission. Okay. The next one is wood, coal, fuel oil, or natural gas burning fireplaces, stove, furnaces, and incinerator. Okay. That means to destroy the material at a higher temperature. Okay. At that process also, the some gases coming out, okay, or they are emitted out from that process, and it is harmful for the human health. The next one is oil refining, powder plant operation, and industrial activity in general. So, even in the separation of one chemical from the another, okay, or even by the any kind by the mining, okay, if there is a toxic gas which is coming out, that those gases are also responsible for air pollution, chemicals, dust, and crop waste burning in farming. Okay. So fumes from paint, varnish, aerosol sprays, and other solvents. Okay, that in most of the factories, the formation or the process is done to produce this paint varnish aerosols. Okay, as we know, most of the products are volatile for the preparation of these products. Okay, so these are harming the ozone layer. Okay, so waste deposition in landfills we generate methane, and methane is responsible for greenhouse effect, as we know, increasing the temperature, ultimately responsible for the global warming. Military uses such as nuclear weapon, toxic gases, warfare, and rocketry. Okay, So all these are anthropogenic sources, that is because of the man-made activity, the air pollution increasing. Okay. Now what are the natural sources? So form, dust from natural sources, usually large area of land with little or no vegetation. Okay. So dust from natural sources, that means because of the air that dust comes, okay, that may get into a respiratory system and which is harmful for the human health. Okay. The next one is methane emitted by digestion of food by animals, for example cattle. Okay. That is also responsible for the greenhouse effect. Pine trees which emit volatile organic components. Okay. The radon gas forms radioactive decay within the earth's crust. Okay. This one is responsible for indoor pollution or indoor air pollution, okay, that we are going to see afterwards. Smoke and carbon monoxide from wildfires. Okay. And the last one is volcanic activities which produce sulfur, chlorine, and ash particulates. As they are forming different kinds of oxides, okay, these are going to interact with each other or react with each other, and they either increase the temperature, okay, or they may alter the natural composition of air molecules or the constituents. And third one is they are responsible for the acid rains. Okay, so whenever if the rain comes, okay, then it is a very dangerous situation for all the animals. Maybe whether these are the in the form of vegetation, okay, maybe microscopic, or which are highly evolved animals, that is human beings or the any topmost consumer, because it is altering the soil composition. The higher pH or the sorry, lower pH, that is acidity, it is altering the natural constituents or the, let's say, the form of soil which is maybe highly fertile, okay, or productive. If that things get altered, okay, then it is very hard to grow on that soil any kind of food material. If there is no vegetation, there is no the further life may be present, would be present, depending on that vegetation. Okay. So indirectly there is a loss of ecosystem. So next point is, what is indoor air pollution? The environment inside buildings, offices and houses also have pollutants. Okay. So the most important indoor pollutant is radon gas. Radon gas and its radioactive daughters are responsible for large number of lung cancer deaths each year. Okay. So what is indoor pollution? That means the pollution which is inside the building, offices and houses. Okay. That we usually don't feel there is any kind of air pollution, but still there is a air pollution because of radon gas. Okay. So from where does this radon gas come out or comes out? Come out, that is radon gas can be emitted from building materials like bricks, concrete and tiles. Okay. Actually, in normal condition, this emitted from, or this is coming out from the earth's surface or the crust. Okay. So which are derived from soil, from radium. Okay. So radon is also present in underground water, natural gas and emitted indoor, natural gas and emitted indoor while using them. Okay. Developed and developing countries including India uses fuel like coal, dung cakes, wood, kerosene in their kitchens. So by burning them also causing air pollution, okay, or indoor air pollution. So complete combustion produces the toxic gas carbon monoxide. Okay. So coal contains varying amount of sulfur, which on burning produces sulfur dioxide, and these are responsible for the acid rain. So fossil fuel burning produces black soot. These pollutants, that is carbon monoxide, sulfur oxide, soot, that is carbon and sulfur oxide, soot and may other like formaldehyde, benzopyrene are toxic and harmful for health. Okay. So BAP, that is the benzoapyrene, is also found in cigarette smoke. Actually, it is not found in cigarette smoke, but when uh, the person lighten up, okay, that cigarette, by the reaction, the BAP is produced and is considerable to cause cancer. A housewife using wood as a fuel for cooking inhales BAP equivalent to 20% of a cigarette a day. Okay, that's why we have shifted on the butane gas. Okay. Indoor pollution facilities may be caused by using pesticides and other chemical sprays indoors without proper ventilation, and many homes have been destroyed by accidental pesticide explosions. Okay. So this may be pesticides or the insecticides normally we use at home. Okay. All these contain volatile material or the gases. Okay. So if they have been used, okay, regular basis, that is also by inhalation, that is showing some kind of effects or the toxicity on the human body, or even in on the if we are using as an insecticide, okay, then that may get accumulated into the insect body. Okay. And if we throw it out into the suppose we throw it in the open grassland, okay, of course that may be get consumed by the any other primary consumer, maybe any large insect or amphibian, maybe frog or something, that may be eaten up by the larger one, or that is reptiles, snakes and all, that eaten up by the upper level consumer, that is birds. Okay. And that's how the toxic material is get accumulated into the top level consumer. Okay. And that's how it is harmful to the ecosystem, and it is altering the chemical, biological or the physical properties of ecosystem. Okay. So what are the effects of air pollution till what we have seen? Okay. The first one is smog. The word smog has been coined from a combination of words fog and smoke. Okay. It is a combination of various gases with the water vapor and dust. That means combination of various gases with water vapor and dust. Okay. So this is commonly observed during the winter. Okay. Or countries where the cold conditions are more prevalent. Okay. The classic case which we study, or the environmentalists usually study, that is a London smog. Okay. So it was a big tragedy because of the smog that we are going to study in the case studies. Okay. But just remember, the large part of the gases that forms smog is produced when fuels are burned. Okay. The smog forms when heat and sunlight react with these gases and fine particles in the air. So the organic material or any kind of material is burnt out, and the smoke which is coming out from there, it is get mixed with the water vapors, okay, or the fog. Along with that, the dust particles which are present in the air also react with them and forming a smog. So smog refers to hazy air that causes difficult breathing conditions. The most harmful component of smog are ground level ozone and fine airborne particles. Okay? So ground level ozone forms when pollutants released from gasoline and diesel powder powered vehicles and oil based solvents react with heat and sunlight, and it is harmful to humans, animals and plants. Okay, so not only the burnt or organic material, that is not only that smoke is getting mixed with the fog, but along with that the pollutants which is coming out by the vehicles, okay, by burning gasoline or diesel or any oil based solvent or the chemicals, that also getting trapped or react with the fog and smoke. Okay, and it is more harmful to animals and plants. So the heat and sunlight are also there along with the fog, smoke and dust particles. So all these things are altering the normal composition or the constituents of the air or the atmosphere, and because of that the breathing becomes difficult. So the common conditions which you can observe near the north side. Okay, so there is a fog and smoke getting mixed. Okay, so you can observe the hazy environment or the climate. Okay, so next one is acid rains. Oxides of sulfur and nitrogen gets oxidized in the atmosphere and coming into contact with the moisture get converted into acid. Okay, so that's why it is important to reduce the combustion or the production of this nitrogen oxide, nitrogen and sulfur oxides. So these acids eventually return to earth as a rain. So in the picture you can observe there is a nitrogen oxide, dioxide and sulfur dioxide. Okay, these are in the atmosphere. With the condensation they are forming vapors, and with in the form of rain they are again coming on the earth surface. Okay, this time they are forming acid rain, that means H2SO4 and HNO3. All these are acidic components. So when they fall down on the earth, what happens? Or what are the effects? That is, acid rain corrodes metal and limestone, causing extensive damage to vegetation and wildlife. Okay, so they are altering the pH of the soil. So no appropriate pH, then the very few species of plants can survive. So less the vegetation, the less primary producer, okay, or the next consumer, the next consumer and topmost consumer, all are dependent on indirectly, that all are dependent indirectly on the vegetation. Okay, it can change the soil and water picture, affecting vegetation, wildlife and aquatic ecosystem. So it is not only affecting the soil, okay, it can affect on aquatic biota or the aquatic life. So next one is global warming. The insulation of earth's surface from the outer space caused by greenhouse gases tends to become more and more effective as the concentration of uh, carbon monoxide, that is hydrates of carbon, nitrogen oxide and chlorofluorocarbon, okay, that rises. More heat and infrared radiations are trapped by gaseous mantle around the globe, which accelerate the pace of global warming. Okay, so why it is important to study global warming? That is, as we know, the temperature is increasing. So even if it is increased by 1 or 2 degree, but we are considering as a big issue. But right now we are living in a safe conditions. where we do not face or we do not feel the greater effect of global warming. Okay, but if you live at a different poles, that is Arctic and Antarctic, in those regions, the rise in the temperature, even by 1 or 2 degree, may show great impact on the ecosystem because the conditions are, or the majority of the water is in the ice form or the glacial form. Okay, if it try to change, sorry, if uh, the temperature increases by even 1 or 2 degree, the ice or glaciers starts melting. Okay, start melting, and the organisms which are dependent on those type of habitat, okay, may see a greater impact on their ecosystem and life. So next one is zone depletion. Ozone is the uppermost shield. Ozone is the upper atmosphere shields the earth from harmful ultraviolet radiation emitted by the sun. So man-made chemicals have damaged this ozone layer, allowing ultraviolet radiations to pass through, which affects our health and damages plants. So short-term exposure to ultraviolet radiation can cause sunburn, but also long-term exposure, it may cause premature aging of the skin and in some cases skin cancer. Okay, so as we know, there was a hole in the ozone layer. Okay, and slowly it got filled or healed. Okay, the next one is impact on vegetation. So what is the impact of air pollutants on plants? Air pollutants like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide or nitrous dioxide affect plants by entering through stomata, destroy chlorophyll, and affect photosynthesis. So, what are the stomata? So, if you observe the structure of leaf, there is a small opening or the holes. These are called as the stomata. These are the gates by through which the air is coming inside and outside. Okay. So this is a proper structure of stomata. So it is a C shape on one side, okay, or that is the lip-like structure on both sides. Okay, and there is a small the passage through which air molecules can go inside and can come outside. So usually CO2 is going inside and O2 as a waste product coming outside. Okay, so pollutants also erode waxy coating of the leaves called cuticle. Okay, so cuticle prevents excessive water loss and damage from diseases, pests, droughts, and frost. Okay, so in most of the plant species, okay, there is a covering which is a protective covering called as a cuticle. Okay, it is preventing the excessive loss or water loss, that is evaporation, damage from diseases, pest, drought, and frost. Okay, that means the any for the foreign invaders cannot invade or attack on plants. Damage to leaf structure causes necrosis, that is a dead region of leaf. Okay, so this one is the necrosis. So this condition you must have seen in most of the plants, maybe in the forest. Then chlorosis, that is loss or reduction of chlorophyll causing yellowing of leaf. Okay, then it is called as a epinasty. It is a downward curling of leaf. Okay, that means like elephant tusk, how it is folding. Likewise, there is a epinasty, that is the leaves are curled or turning down. Okay, this is called as a epinasty. So downward curling of leaf. The last one is abscission, that is dropping of leaves. Okay, so many of these things are controlled by plant hormones, and if these pollutants are there, they are going to change the working of hormones, plant hormones. Okay, and because of that, we can see this kind of effects or the ill effects, that is necrosis, chlorosis, epinacity, and abscission. Okay? Particulate deposits on leaves can form incrustation and plug the stomata. The damage can result in death of plant. Okay, because how we are breathing with the nostrils, because that is the opening for the air which is coming inside the body. Likewise, in a plant, these are the openings, okay, through which air molecules are coming inside the plant. Okay, and it is helping for the synthesis. And if these are may get plugged or clogged by this kind of chemicals, okay, or by the dust particles, then it is going to change the or alter the rate of photosynthesis, that is actual productivity of the plant. And indirectly, these are showing the detrimental effects, okay, that on the lifespan. Now, health impacts on specific air pollutants. So, some of these gases can seriously and adversely affect the health of the population and should be given due attention by concerned authority. Okay, so these gases are mentioned. The first one is a tobacco smoke. So, generate a wide range of harmful chemicals, and this, as we know, it is showing or cause ill health effects. Okay, and if there is a this ill effects, okay, these conditions, we can say this is called as a morbidity. That means how much prolonged time we can see the ill effects of particular disease or the medical condition. Then ultimately it causes cancer. So it is well known that smoking also affects passive smoker, okay, and affect different uh, organs like eyes, nose, throat irritation, maybe cause bronchitis, asthma, and in extreme cases it is lungs. Now, what are biological pollutants? These are mostly allergens, okay, which is causing asthma, hay fever, and other allergic diseases. So, hay fever is, that means uh, whenever they are cleaning the hay or the any kind of uh, pulses, okay, at that time the leftover material which is coming or they spread into the air, okay, that is responsible. If they get entrapped into the respiratory system, that may cause hay fever and allergic diseases. Okay, suppose any cotton fiber which is may get inhaled, or suppose any sugar cane uh, fiber, okay, or the particle may get inhaled, that is called as a bagasosis. Okay, that may cause biological, sorry, that may cause fever, and these are called as the biological pollutants. What are volatile organic components? So, these volatile organic components are causing irritation to eye, nose, throats. Okay, in maybe some cases headache, nausea, loss of coordination. These kind of effects we can see because of volatile organic components. So, formaldehyde is causing irritation to eyes, nose, and cause allergies in some people. Okay, so lead is one of the component which is responsible for the air pollution. So prolonged exposure can damage to nervous system, digestive problem, and in some cases cause cancer. So the lead is most commonly uh, found in the mining. Okay, and if there is a continuous inhalation of the lead, that may cause fibrosis. Okay? This is called as a lead poisoning, and that is hazardous to small children and mainly affecting the nervous system. So the last one is radon, that is a radioactive gas responsible for indoor air pollution. So accumulate inside the house, originate from rock, soil, under the houses. So uh, indirectly, that we don't know how much amount or in concentration this radon gas is emitted or coming out from these structures, maybe bricks, earth crust, okay, crevices, cement. So there is a risk of lung cancer. The next one is ozone. So exposure to this gas makes your eye itch, burn, and uh, it is been associated with increase in respiratory disorders such as asthma. Okay, and if there is a lower resistance, then it causes pneumonia. Then nitrates of oxide. So these are also air pollute. This is also air pollutant and causing irritation to eyes, throat, and nausea, which are the parts are exposed and show the first effect. The same the carbon monoxide, that is it is competing the with the hemoglobin. As we know, the hemoglobin has higher affinity for oxygen. Okay, but if in the body or in the blood there is a high concentration of carbon monoxide, in that case the hemoglobin is get attached with the carbon monoxide. Okay, that means in the body the oxygen level or the oxygen concentration is less. So what are the effects we can see? That it affects brain, cardiovascular system, and developing fetus. Okay, can impair concentration, slow our reflexes, and make us confused and sleepy. The next one is sulfur dioxide. It can oxidize from sulfuric acid mist. So sulfur dioxide in the air leads to diseases of the lung and other disorders such as wheezing, shortness of breath. Okay, so these are the effects of sulfur dioxide. Okay, the next one is suspended particulate matter. That means all the dust, fumes, mist, and smoke. These are responsible for air pollution, or we are considering these substances as air pollutant. So these are maybe form any kind of matter or the component with any this nickel, arsenic, the elements. Okay, either they form any kind of oxide, or the particulate matter may get lodged in our lungs. Okay, so as we know, they get trapped into the bronchi. Okay, that is a tree-like structure which is present in the lungs, and that cause damage to respiratory system. Because if there is any kind of pollutant or the foreign particle goes in the respiratory system, okay, by the by the mucus layer, okay, it is coming out by only by coughing. The body tries to eliminate out from the body. Okay? But if there is a prolonged conditions or there is a prolonged deposition of this dust particle or the particulate matter, okay, it may reduce the reflexes or may hamper the process of elimination. So by this way, the what are the ill effects we can observe, that is either bronchitis, and if any along with that dust particle, any toxic chemical, okay, or the particle which is coming inside the body, it may cause fibrosis also. The next one is hydrogen cyanide. Okay, as we know, the it is harmful or very dangerous. affects nerve cell. Observable effects are dry throat, indistinctive vision, and headache. The next one is ammonia, okay, that is causing inflammation of upper respiratory system. And the phosphogen and carbonyl chloride induce coughing and pulmonary edema. Edema is nothing but the and swelling and the we can say the accumulation of body water. The next one is control of air pollution. Okay, how can we control? The first process is adsorption. Okay, this is the physical process in which surface characteristics of certain material are used. Okay, that means we are going to clear or the separate out the pollutant from the normal air. Okay, so this pollutant may be present in the gas or liquid. If it is a gas, then we are using adsorption. So certain uh, compound is used to adsorb the pollutant. For example, charcoal or silica gel. Okay, and in one container, we are we can flow air which is already polluted, can place absorbent. Okay, and by another way we can spray a normal flow of air. Okay, just for the flow, and by this flow the polluted material gets stick or absorbed by the this material, that is charcoal silica gel, and by another way or by another outlet we can get a normal form or the pure form of air. Okay, the next one is absorption. The same process we can use, but only the liquid gas, okay, we can separate out. So water is used medium for absorption. The next one is condensation, that we know that the gaseous vapors, okay, these are used for the condensation. So this is used for the hydrocarbon removal of hydrocarbon and organic compounds. Okay, and then it is kept as it is, and the air cooled material, okay, then afterwards collected. Then the next one is the chemical reaction, that is by using any chemical substance. Okay, the next one is incineration, that is combustible material in waste gas is fed to equipment operating under high temperature. Okay, so gaseous as well as particulate combustible material are oxidized into carbon dioxide and water. Okay, in settling chamber, that means gas is used for this and pass through this chamber. Okay, the pollutants get settled down. Okay, or the particles of particular gas settle down. Electrostatic precipitator, that means air or gas stream is allowed to pass through a chamber having charged plates. So these plates attract particles of opposite charge, and when change the plate is retracted, the particles get precipitated likewise. So based on the positive and negative charges, okay, these molecules get attracted. Okay, and when plates are retracted, when we change the position, then this may get precipitated out. Okay, so these are the methods for the control of air pollution.